Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Bhaja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Bhaja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Bhaja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So because of peer pressure from devotees, I am being Krishna forced into giving class. So there must be a reason.
Always
why I'm giving
right,
class. Even my wife left me and ran away. So I'm just here, fending with all your mercy to instill hopefully some knowledge more to me than to any of you. I feel bad for all of you because you're stuck listening to me.
Oh, wow.
But at least I can read something, which is very, very nice. So I have been told we are in Canto 1, Chapter 9, text 36. Right? Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Dayam Budirayet Ashtapraneshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavatir Naishtaki. So once again, Canto 1, Chapter 9, text 36. And pardon, I'm lucky someone like me has readers, so I can borrow their readers. So I did not come prepared. Thank you, Mataji. Okay. Vyavahita prita muktam niriksya. Vyavahita prita mukam. What's the meter? Prabhu, what's the meter? How do you say it properly? Evashtrasi. Vyavahita prana muktam niriksya. Vyavahita prita mukam niriksya.
Vyavahita prita mukam
Svajana vadan vimuksha dosa Buddha. Let me get this meter right. Kumatam arahat atma vidyayayas. Charanarati paramasya tasyamestu. Vyavahita prattanamukam niriksha. Svajana vadad vimukasya dosa buddhya. Matamarahat atma vidyayas. Charanarati paramasya tasya mestu.
Vyavahita pratanamukam nirikshasya.
Vyavahita pratanamukam nirikshya.
Svajana vadad vimukasya dosha buddhya.
Svajana vadad vimukasya dosha buddhya. Kumatam arahat atma vidyayas. Charanarati paramasya tasyamestu.
Vyavahita pratanamukam niriksha.
Vyavahita pratanamukam niriksha.
Svajana vadad vimukhasya dosha buddhya.
Svajana vadad vimukhasya dosha buddhya.
Kumati maharadatma vidayaya.
Kumati marat atma vidyayas.
Charanaratihi paramasya tasya mestu.
Charanarati paramasya tasya mestu. Mataji. Vyavahita pratanamukam niriksha.
Svajana vadad vimukasya dosha buddhya.
Svajana vadad vimukasya dosha buddhya.
Kumatim maharad atma vidyayas.
Kumatim marat atma vidyayas.
Charanarati paramasya tasya mestu.
Charanarati paramasya tasya mestu. Vyavahita. Standing at a distance. Pritana. Soldiers. Mukam. Faces. Niriksya. By looking upon. Svajana. Kinsmen. Vadat. From the act of killing. Vimukhasya. One who is reluctant. Dosa buddhya. By polluted intelligence. Kumatim. Poor fund of knowledge. Aharat. Eradicated. Atma vidyaya. By transcendental knowledge. Ya. He who. Charana. To the feet. Rati. Attraction. Paramasya. Of the Supreme. Tasya. For him. Me. My. Astu. Let there be. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. When Arjuna was seemingly polluted by ignorance upon observing the soldiers and commanders before him on the battlefield, the Lord eradicated his ignorance by delivering transcendental knowledge. May his lotus feet always remain the object of my attraction. So So read along with me. When Arjuna was seemingly polluted by ignorance upon observing the soldiers and commanders before him on the battlefield, the Lord eradicated his ignorance by delivering transcendental knowledge. May his lotus feet always remain the object of my attraction. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The kings and the commanders were to stand in the front of the fighting soldiers. That was the system of actual fighting. The kings and commanders were not so-called presidents or ministers of defense as there are today. They would not stay home while the poor soldiers or mercenaries were fighting face to face. This may be the regulation of modern democracy, but when actual monarchy was prevailing, the monarchs were not cowards, elected without consideration of qualification. As it was evident from the battlefield of Kurukshetra, all the executive heads of both parties, like Drona, Bhishma, Arjuna, and Duryodhana, were not sleeping. All of them were actually participating in the fighting, which was selected to be executed at a place away from the civil residential quarters. This means that the innocent citizens were not immune from all. This means the innocent citizens were immune from all effects of fighting between the rival royal parties. The citizens had no business in seeing what was going to happen during such fighting. They were to pay 1/4 their income to the ruler, whether he be Arjuna or Duryodhana. All the commanders of the parties of the battlefield of Kurukshetra were standing face to face, and Arjuna saw them with great compassion and lamented that he was to kill his kinsmen on the battlefield for the sake of the empire. He was not at all afraid of the giant military phalanx presented by Duryodhana, but as a merciful devotee of the Lord, renunciation of worldly things was natural for him, and thus he decided not to fight for worldly possessions. But this was due to a poor fund of knowledge, and therefore it is said here that his intelligence became polluted. His intelligence could not be polluted at any time because he was a devotee and constant companion of the Lord, as is clear in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Apparently Arjuna's intelligence became polluted because otherwise there would not have been a chance to deliver the teachings of Bhagavad Gita for the good of all polluted conditioned souls engaged in material bondage by the conception of the false material body. The Bhagavad Gita was delivered to the conditioned souls of the world to deliver them from the wrong conception of identifying the body with the soul and to reestablish the soul's eternal relation to the Supreme Lord. Atma Vidya, or transcendental knowledge of himself, was primarily spoken by the Lord for the benefit of all concerned in all parties of the universe. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuda Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakantvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Dakshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Mancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'll read the translation one more time. When Arjuna was seemingly polluted by ignorance upon observing the soldiers and commanders before him on the battlefield, the Lord eradicated his ignorance by delivering transcendental knowledge. May his lotus feet always remain the object of my attraction. It's a very beautiful, beautiful purport. So this is this point. This is Bhishma that is speaking. So Bhishma is sitting here at this point on a bed of arrows, right? He is about to take leave of this material world. And so he has this boon that he can take leave at any time he wants because he took care of his father gave him this boon because he gave up the ability to have children so his father could marry his wife. So the father gave him a boon that he could leave at any time. So Bhishma is ready to leave his body, but because he's such an exalted soul, who is there to watch him? Krishna is actually there. So, because at the time of death, what's the only thing we have to do? We have to remember Krishna.
Right.
So luckily for Bhishma, not luckily, he's a devotee of the Lord. So Krishna is willing to come, be right there in front of him. So of course Bhishma will not forget Krishna. But also Krishna wants to make sure that the next king is going to be Arjuna and the Pandavas, right? And he wants them to get very good advice. So who does he bring them to? Does he bring them to anyone? He brings them to the one who's fighting him. Usually if you want to come for advice for a kingdom, you don't go to the person you're going to defeat, right? You don't go to the one you're going to defeat. But Krishna knows that Bhishma is the topmost devotee. So he actually has Arjuna come to, Yudhishthira actually comes to, all the Pandavas come to Bhishma to make sure they can get advice from Bhishma. And Bhishma gives all this advice, which we are hearing from now. And then we hear in this purport how, Arjuna is coming here with some ignorance. At least seemingly is ignorant, they say in the purport. He's seemingly ignorant. And because he is coming in these battles, he's still struggling to fight. And why is he struggling to fight? Because he has to fight his own cousins and his relatives, his teacher, his grandfather. So Arjuna is, in this whole text of Bhagavad Gita, in the middle of this battle, he asks these questions of the Supreme Lord. So, these questions he asks us because he is wondering how he can get out of taking part in this battle, right? He wants to not be involved in this battle because he feels if he kills his cousins and all these things, he'll incur all kinds of sin. The sin of killing his own family, the sin of killing in general, the sin of leading to all the killing of all the men in society, which lead to the downfall of Artha Sankara, the offspring that'll be of polluted men and women. So he does not want to take care of this part of this whole process. But as a warrior, as this purport, Bhishma is also speaking, and the purport also says, warriors that time, they didn't delegate. Like now, if President Trump wants to fight a war, who's he do? He tells all of he says, you go fight, I'll sit in my White House.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But at this time, back then, who was fighting? Who was fighting? The king, right? Yudhishthira is the king. The next king he's fighting. Duryodhana is the actual king at the time, or the prince. He's fighting. Who's he asking to fight? Is he asking just some lay people, some people drafted to fight? No. In fact, it says, where's the war take place? Kurukshetra, which is not where they actually reside. They're inside Hastinapur, right? So most times when you attack them, you attack them in their city. Mm-hmm. They said, no, no citizen will be hurt. We'll have no killing of any innocent people. We'll go fight someplace else. This is the nature of the Kshatriya. Now we talk about warriors, and what do we talk about warriors? Warriors are drafted and they're made to fight for the president or the king of the country. This is not how it is. But it says here, the king and the commander were to stand, the king and the commander were to stand in the front of the fighting soldiers. This was a system of actual fighting. The kings and commanders were not so-called presidents or ministers of defense as they are today. They would not stay home while the poor soldier and mercenaries were fighting face to face. So here, Arjuna is going to fight face to face with his relatives. And so he is in this consternation whether he should fight or not. And this is where the Bhagavad Gita is actually spoken. This whole Bhagavad Gita is spoken. And then we might think that, Arjuna is somewhat confused. When the purport explains to us, Arjuna is momentarily placed in ignorance. And why is that? Why is he momentarily placed in ignorance? So that the Bhagavad Gita can be spoken. For whose benefit? Arjuna's benefit? For our benefit, right? Not all your benefit, but for my benefit is spoken. This is why, this is the magnanimity of Arjuna. And also Bhishma. Remember, Bhishma is a devotee of Krishna. Yet he is fighting valiantly against Krishna. So if I were to say to you, Prabhu, as my friend, I want you to fight against me. You say, what kind of friend are you? Are you testing me? I don't know, I'll fight on your side. But Bhishma, being the grandsire, he takes on the position of fighting against Krishna. And why would he do that? If he loves Krishna, why would he fight against Krishna? Any idea why?
He wants to prove that and make a point that if Krishna is on the other side, nobody can defeat him, even if as powerful a warrior as Bhishma. But nobody can defeat him.
So he's saying, if I fight against you and you still defeat me, how great are you? This is right. Bhishma Pita is the topmost warrior. Remember, he kidnapped all the Ambika, Ambalika, and Amba. He kidnapped them. He is such a supreme warrior. He had no problem taking them from their kingdom and bringing them to his brothers for wedding, for marriage. He was such a powerful. Who was he trained by? Parshuram. Who is Parshuram?
Incarnation.
He's Supreme Lord. So Bhishma Pita is trained by Parshuram. Now he's fighting Krishna. Because that is what he's supposed to do. This is the rasa, this is the lila that has to happen. So he's not fighting. He said, no, Krishna, can you please put me on your side? I want to be on the winning side. That's what we would say. I know you're going to win, so can I just be on your team instead? Oh, he said, no, what? I will show you. I will fight so hard. Because if I'm on your side and you win, people say, because you had the greatest warrior of all time, that's why you won. If a team has all the best players and they win, no one's, big deal. You're the best team, so what? You're supposed to win. But if you have all the great players on the opposite side, and then you win, it's, look at the prowess of Krishna and Arjuna. They won against Drona, Bhishma, all these devotees. So this is the position. Imagine if we were put in that position to say, okay, Krishna says to you, okay, you have to fight against me. What, Krishna? I don't want to fight against you. And he goes, no, you have to fight against me because it'll make me look better. Krishna's not saying that, obviously, but this is the position that Bhishma Pita takes. He will fight just because Krishna asks him to. And then, when the enemy comes to him and he's dying, is Bhishma saying, I won't talk to them. Advice? Krishna says, give you advice to the enemy? I won't give advice. What does he do? He gladly gives advice. He tells him exactly how to rule a kingdom. Everything he knows, he tells Yudhishthira and the Pandavas. This is the position that Bhishma is taking. You've all read this already in all these verses, so you know of the magnitude of Bhishma Dev. But just in case we forget, let's hear it again. So this is the position that Bhishma Pita has taken. And then Arjuna also takes his position of devotee of the Supreme Lord. And yet he is fully realized, right? Arjuna is not some person like you or I who is wondering, is Krishna for real? Do I surrender to Krishna or not? Every day I wake up, I wonder, should I surrender to Krishna or should I watch TV instead? I don't know. There's a good program on. Maybe I'll watch TV instead. Arjuna is not like that. But he plays the role of ignorance for our purposes. Because without Arjuna getting the lessons, where do we get lessons from? And without Prabhupada translating these books from Sanskrit to English, what would we be doing today? I don't know what you'd be doing. I wouldn't be doing anything of any worth. So this is why when we read these purports, we must think. Every time I read the Bhagavatam, I see, this is just one book of 18, right, from Bhagavatam. And I read it and I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't read these books, it's too much. But Prabhupada wrote these books. So, has anyone written a book before? I don't know what's written a book. Do you think writing a book is easy?
No.
Otherwise we would have all written 10 books by now, right? So writing one book is not easy. Prabhupada wrote so many books. And we don't read them. So how much effort is to read a book? Not much effort. But we don't make the effort to read the book. So when I read these purports, I'm reminded that Prabhupada put everything he had into translating, writing, all these things just for people. Prabhupada's gift, for all of us who don't know this already, Prabhupada's gift is to make the complicated simple. And he takes examples, analogies you read. How do you come up with those analogies? This is the best analogy ever. Like a car driver analogy. I'm like, that's the most beautiful analogy. I would have never thought of that. But he makes the complicated simple. And so all the effort he put in, he knew he's going to talk to people like us who are very, very fallen. And so he had to make it very, very simple. Otherwise we wouldn't understand. So this is the when you pick up this book, just think of Srila Prabhupada and all the effort he put into doing this. And of course, the knowledge and teaching is very, very, very good. It's great. I mean, Arjuna going through the process of being in ignorance for Krishna to explain, that's difficult for Arjuna to do because I already know this, Krishna. Stop telling me. He said, no, please play the position of ignorance because I need to tell everyone else. Why is the battle going on? Because if there's no battle, no one would read this. No one would be interested. I have to have a battle. I have to have some fighting. I have to have some intrigue. Otherwise, no one will read. And then in the middle of this intrigue, I will tell you everything you need to know. But you have to ask me a lot of questions. Even though Arjuna knows all the answers, he has to ask the questions. Imagine if you knew all the answers, you're forced to ask questions. You'd be like, oh, come on. I don't want to do this. Arjuna says, no, I will keep asking questions. And each time, he asks more and more. Krishna is revealing to himself, to all of us who he is. Because for any average person, a regular person would read the first 10 verses and say, oh my goodness, Krishna must be Supreme Lord. He can do all these things. But for us, we say, no, Krishna, I don't think so. Let me read some more. No, I don't think so. And finally, by the end of chapter 18, we might say, maybe I'll surrender to this Krishna. Maybe. We're still not convinced. Then he gives us Bhagavatam. So he has all these stories of devotees who have surrendered. And we're like, okay, maybe now no, maybe not. Then he gives the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where the Lord comes as a devotee of himself to show how we are supposed to act as devotees. And of course, Chaitanya Charitamrita is very, very beautiful, right? No fighting, no warfare, but just soul after soul after soul, most fallen soul after soul, Mahaprabhu is picking them up and saving them. And of course, Prabhupada translated all these for us to read. So maybe at some point at the time of death, we can remember Krishna. That's all we have to do, right? There's only one thing we have to do. There's only one exam. Who likes taking exams? What if I told you there's only one exam you have to ace? And I'll give you the test question right now. Who will you remember the time of death? That's who you will become. So how do you study for that test? What do you do?
Chanting.
Chanting?
Chanting.
What we do is every day, every single day, every single moment, we remember Krishna.
That's one.
Right? Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So how do we do that? The only way we do that is by constantly engaging in service. Whether it be chanting, whether it be eating prasadam, my favorite, whether it be, satsang, association, whether it be through reading books, we must constantly engage in Krishna. Because the time of death was, as we know, we never know. Some people die at very young, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Some people die in their 90s. But it doesn't matter. The test is always the same. The question is always the same. At the time of death, what are we going to do? So Bhishma is showing us how to die. So, very morbid topic, right? But this is how we must understand death is not the end, right? Soul is eternal. So how do we take upon this process of dying? So Bhishma Dev is showing us, remember Krishna at the time of death, and we will be taken care of. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sorry, I was off, just thrown into this, so this is all I can come up with. So hopefully it was something of value. I learned a lot from reading this verse myself. So, any questions or thoughts? Please share.
Nice class, Prabhu. Maybe get you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
I feel.
Any questions?
Felt like, thanks for the class. I just felt like after going through the purport, it's just a summary of chapter 4, Divya Transcendental Knowledge.
Transcendental chapter 4. I mean, the beauty of Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita is they all go hand in hand, right? Mm-hmm. You read, and the funny thing is, anytime you were asked to read something for even a class, I guarantee you, anytime you'll find something you remember you just read like 2 days ago. So the Krishna is very merciful. The devotees are very merciful. They give you a verse to read. Somehow you just talked about it 2 days ago or something like that. So this is very nice. I just talked about Bhishma at the Bhishma Panchaka, which is, last couple of days ago ended. So this is nice reading about Bhishma Deva again. Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhu, could you speak about Tulsi Vivaha a little bit?
So what is going to happen today? So, this is Tulsi Viva is actually quite a new process for me. I think it's more in the north. Or is it south? Did we do? I've never done Tulsi Viva ever before. So, only from coming to ISKCON have I actually. Vaishnava temples do. So, I grew up a non-Vaishnava, so what to do? So I was, as I've seen it more and more, I'm more intrigued by the whole process. So please come this afternoon. You can learn some more. It's the marriage of Tulsi and Shaligram.
Right.
So but truthfully, I'm not any much more versed than that.
Okay. That's enough, Prabhu.
I don't want to lie to you.
That's enough. Okay.
There's a learning curve for all of us.
Yes. Any other questions or thoughts? Matajis, you must have some thoughts. Both knowledgeable Matajis are here. Anything?
No, just like the last point, to prepare for the final test, to answer it, like we have to remember it, always remember, never forget Krishna. So it's really important to take care of our skills.
So the thing is, we know the question. What's the question? What do you remember at the time of death? So how do you prepare for it? You always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. But if you look at your day-to-day activity, is that happening? That'll answer the question. Yeah. And every day, what do we do? And if you're all being truthful with ourselves, we're not doing that every day, right? And so the difficulty is that look, no one's a fanatic here. You can't say like, I want you to sit at home and just bury your face in Bhagavatam every day. We all have to work, we all have services, we have things we have to do. But everything we tie back into Krishna consciousness will get us closer to Krishna. So even work can be Krishna conscious, children's activities are Krishna conscious, everything we do can be Krishna conscious. What we have to be careful of is when we do activities that are very material, because those leave indelible marks in our mind too. And at the time of death, how many people get attached to so many different things? Their car, they get attached to their dog, they get attached to so many different things, work. And what do you think of a time of death? Because they say a time of death is like, they say it's like being bit by 10,000 scorpions. That's how much pain you have at the time of death. How can you remember Krishna at the time of death? Bhishma is laying on arrows. They're pierced through his body. What kind of pain must he be in? So much pain. But he's not even feeling the pain because he's remembering Krishna. So, in one of the tests they say is like, when you're about to have something happen to you that's very, a car crash or something that's very, that you're not thinking, what do you say at the time? You say, most people say a swear word, right? Or something like that. So, but are you saying, oh Krishna, Krishna save me? You go, no, that's happening. If you stub your toe, what do you say?
Right.
Oh! Yeah. Right? So, when we say Krishna, that's a good kind of thing remembering. When we're in pain, how do we remember? So, how do you remember Krishna? We just flood our mind with Krishna. And I can tell you this by experience. We can all tell us from experience. Take ourselves 5 years ago, 10 years ago. How many times do you think of Krishna? Once a week? Once a month? Once in 10 years? I don't know. Right? I was thinking Krishna maybe once a year. Janmashtami, maybe I thought of Krishna. Now how much do you think of Krishna? Maybe a couple times a day at least. Maybe more than that. So how much progression is that? So much better. From once a week to 5 times a day, that's a lot better. Yeah. But how do you get to be 24 to 45 to 100 times a day? Same thing. Same way it got from once a week to 5 times a day, from 5 times a day to 50 times a day, the same process. Associate, books, chant, and eat prasadam. So, but also you have to make sure to keep the other things out, all the other things out, which is so many inputs come in our mind all the time. So many things are trying to get our mind attention. You know, there's people out there that their whole job is they market to you, right? They want to take your mind and occupy your mind. And the easiest marketing tool that people use is always sex, right? That's the easiest marketing tool people use. They put a beautiful woman on the TV and they say, drink beer, you'll be happy. And we all do it. How do we fall for that? Because marketing is very powerful. So same way, Krishna marketing is very powerful too. And how do we market to ourselves? We pick up this book and we read it. And of course, initially we might say, I'm going to read for 1 minute a day, 2 minutes a day, and it becomes a chore. But at some point it becomes not a chore. Sometimes it becomes enjoyable. I can't wait to read. Waking up in the morning used to be a chore. Now waking up in the morning is enjoyable. And why is that? We have something to look forward to. It's not like, oh, I gotta go to work today, right? Now it's like, I get to read Gita in the morning. I get to read Bhagavatam. I come to Bhagavatam class in the morning. All of you lucky folks come in the morning every day. So, but, yeah, so thank you, Machi. I'm going off topic. So any other questions or thoughts?
Just wanted to add one. Like, if we keep practicing devotional service, and there's one hope that, you know, even if, for example, if one meets death in an accident, and we don't know what's going to happen, even if we are not able to remember Krishna, Krishna will help us to remember him.
That's so comforting too.
Yeah, that's very comforting that, you know, if we keep doing our part, Krishna will help us.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
that's what worries me.
what's that?
Sudden death, and be thinking about the moron in front of me instead of Krishna as I slam into it.
Practice and detachment.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it, practice and detachment. Practice, practice, practice. So Krishna will give us mercy when we practice. We have to make sure, are we really doing are we actually practicing or not? Krishna knows.
Right.
So, you know, this is not like going to confession in the old Catholic Church, where you just confess your sins and you commit more sins. Right? Krishna knows if you're actually practicing properly. We say, Krishna, look at me, I'm reading, look at, no. Am I actually reading to gain the knowledge that's necessary? And Krishna reciprocates. We all have in our life, we can all see so many times in our life, Krishna reciprocates. When we're not doing things that great, somehow Krishna picks us up and says, no, wait, I'm going to pick you up and take care of you. But then we forget again. So, thank you. Sri Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much for the
Nice. Very nice.